Welcome to Charts Today. My name's David Linton, and today's edition for Wednesday, the 8th of July, comes to you from London. And mixed markets this morning. We saw the S&P 500 index down 1% overnight, and we're seeing relatively mixed colours on the screen. That's the first thing I notice when I look at my screen in the morning. Remembering this is my long-term, my medium-term, and my short-term view of the market. So weekly, daily, 60-minute. So the dollar is relatively flat over the last couple of days, and that, of course, means the euro dollar is also Japanese yen still sitting around 107. Sterling, the British pound, sitting at 125.50. So we are just in a slight uptrend against the dollar here, but of course, longer term, we're still below the cloud. And if we look at sterling against the euro, we have been just increasing steadily there, so a little bit of an improvement for sterling. Taking a look at Bitcoin, no real change there, and we're sitting around 9,200. And we mentioned last night the S&P 500 index. The interesting thing is, a month ago today, the S&P 500 was hitting a new 3-month high. We haven't actually managed to get higher since that time, so we are still struggling to make that higher high, which is pretty important for the market. And if we look at the Nasdaq, much the same picture here. We have actually managed to get past the high on Nasdaq. So the tech stock surge has really what's caused the markets to hold up. And looking at the Dow, we're seeing here we're quite bullish as well. The S&P 500 future is up 0.2%. And the Nasdaq E-mini is 0.33% higher, so that's quite key as well. Looking at the market volatility, I've just started to look at this more carefully, the VIX index, and we see here that this has just been creeping up a little bit, and we're again, so the VIX normally is at low levels when stocks are rising, and then we get these spikes. And in fact, I did a chart yesterday, which I posted on LinkedIn, which just show the correlation steadily rising here into this into the crisis, and then we hit this peak of 85, 89.50 was the peak we hit in the financial crisis, and back in 2008. But interestingly, we came back to settle down on this recovery. But the volatility, the VIX volatility, is just starting to rise again. So that does just suggest that we are seeing a little bit of uncertainty creeping in here, and we just need to keep an eye on that. UK market is flat today. The cash market in Germany also relatively flat. That's up 0.12%. We are still in bullish territory on all three charts. So, of course, the key thing with all these markets is making new highs. The Nasdaq has done it, but most other global indices haven't. The CAC 40 is still struggling to get above the cloud, so the French market not looking as strong. And if we look at Tokyo, that was down 1% overnight. Still pretty much in the doldrums, general trend down here. Although medium term we are bullish, the short term has turned back to bearish again. The Hang Seng was up 0.5%, and Chinese stocks continue to rise. They were up 1.75%. So we're really just seeing this jump in Chinese stocks really moving higher. Aussie stocks were actually down 1.5%, so we're just seeing there a bit of a turn down. Gold sitting at 1799.84, so don't be surprised to see a headline gold breaks $1,800. No big surprises there. Target of 1820, 1836, so it's what we kind of have come to expect with gold. It's a bullish chart on all three time frames. Silver we see at 1838, so we're still bullish above all three time frames. And US 10 yield still sitting in the doldrums at around 0.65%. Taking a look at the energy mix, no change on Brent crude this morning, but we are just holding this 43 mark, and we're still in bullish trends on the medium term chart and the short term chart. WTI is down slightly, but again holding the short-term bull trend. US nat gas down 1%. Did get to 190, but just struggling to hold that level, and we do have downside targets back to the low 180s. Coal, we've been quite bullish about, and that's been looking very strong in recovery, good upside targets, and the emissions charts also looking strong there. Interestingly, on coal, here we see a chart with the EOX Live forward curves overlaid, and it just shows that here's the forward curve now, all those green nodules just showing that the price is rising on all the forward contracts. This is model contracts on monthly, and we see here 90 days ago, 60 days ago, so we can really see how the curve's starting to just gradually climb up. But where we look at 180 days ago, 365 days, and 2 years ago, so 2 years, 1 year, we see just how the curve has changed. Really quite fascinating there. If we come back to look at emissions, the emissions chart is we've still got this big upside target, but we are seeing a pullback this morning, and we do have this downside target on emissions, so that's quite key. Looking at MBP, that's down 0.5% this morning, so we are seeing just struggling a little bit, but at the moment still just holding the uptrend. And TTF back to the €6 level, pretty critical on front month's TTF, and we do have targets back below €6. So just a slow gradual break of this long-term trend. And if we look at winter gas, we see here we're down 1.5% this morning, but the recovery is in train here. And in fact, here's seasonal gas, and we do see again how the curve has changed. So the blue is the current level, the green was the previous level, much the same, unchanged there, but we can see the price paid previously on the curve there. Last of all, a quick look at German power, and we see here that we are still bullish despite the fact we're pulling back 2% this morning. That's it for today. Until tomorrow, happy charting. See you then.